Hey folks, it's Jang here from ultimaterc.com in the workshop after a very productive session in the garage, getting a bunch of stuff ready to sell and going through my backlog of items to work on, figuring out what order I want to follow to attack different things. Ended up grabbing this because I want to get this done finally. This is my Traxxas 302 Mustang, Boss 302, and it was the brushed edition, 1/16 scale, brushed with the single Titan motor there. And this thing is due for a little bit of a tune-up because it was fun in stock form, but I want to see if I can get it to handle a little bit better and also get it to go faster. So I'm going to install this Leopard combo, a V2 brushless motor combo with the finned motor, 70 bucks, really super cheap with the programming card and everything. I'm gonna throw some new wheels and tires on there so I can actually have some grip since these kind of don't. And I'm gonna tune up the suspension on here too because the stock suspension setup is just kind of silly. It's really crazy soft. So I got some, what are these, 4.3 pound per inch rate, double black rated Raleigh springs. So hopefully those will help, and I'll probably have to change out the shock oil also. First thing I'm going to do is take off the motor and the ESC, and hopefully this isn't going to be too much of a problem to get in there and get this all unwired. So here we go. So far so good. It's kind of cool. The ESC actually just slides out. It's not even attached with adhesive or screws or anything. It just slides. This new ESC is bigger, but I think I can still get it to fit on the side. I'm just gonna wipe off some of this area, prep it a little bit using some electric motor cleaner just to get a nice clean space, and I'm just going to use some double-sided tape. Hopefully that'll do the trick if I can get it to fit in those slots. First though, I am going to fit the motor, attach that to the motor mount. This will be my first time dealing with one of these motor mounts. Looks pretty straightforward, and I'll just get it lined up roughly the way that it looks like it ought to be. And I have no idea how to gear this motor for this application, so I'm just going to stay with the stock original motor, or actually the stock original gearing from the brushed motor, and run it and then go from there. Now, I've not tested this new system yet. I've seen some folks say that the problem has been solved of the rotors debonding on these. I've seen some folks who say that it still debonds, and this thing is, oh boy, that was attached with some thread lock compound. That's not good. Fortunately, that came off. So I'm gonna have to test this on my own and see what it actually does. I'm not gonna trust it just yet, and I'm not gonna recommend it just yet. All right, before I proceed any farther, looks like the motor is gonna get in the way of taking the shocks out. So I will take the shocks out now and get them properly retuned first, get the new springs on them, and get some new oil in there to match. Feels like something like 50 weight in there, something like that. I forgot. I have worked with these shocks before, these exact same shocks on my Mini E-Revo, and they require some crazy shock or oil rates or oil weights in order to work. Ugh, that's ridiculous. I've taken these shocks apart and put them back together so many times now, going with progressively thicker and thicker oil. I'm now up to 2,000 weight diff oil there, and it's still thinner than I would want it to be. But I'm just tired of taking these apart and redoing them, because you really need to fill these up very carefully since they're on their sides. Any air bubbles will affect the darn thing very easily and quickly. So I'm just going to leave the rears at 2000 weight diff oil for now, and then I'm just going to go with stiffer stuff up front because I do want my front to be a little bit stiffer. All right, 3000 weight is in effect at the front. This is way better than stock. So now, okay, it looks like the ESC does not want to fit in that slot the way that I wanted it to. So I will just put a plate under there with, what I'll do is I'll put down double-sided tape, then a plate of, I don't know, a little piece of carbon fiber or plywood or something, and then double-sided tape on top of that. It'll just make up the space, and then it'll just be normal mounting straight on. From there, I'll get that set up, and then I gotta get some tires on here. So I ended up using a piece of scrap 1/8 inch aluminum in there, sandwiched between two pieces of double-sided tape. And I realized that wood would not have been a good idea because it's so porous, it wouldn't have really adhered in there. But 1/8 inch aluminum, yeah, there's a gram of weight in there or whatever, but gave me the thickness that I needed. So now the thing is sitting up and it has a little bit of shock absorption in there. Mounting my switch back here, and that looks good for starters. I'll go ahead and get this ESC calibrated, and then swap on some wheels and tires. Of course, one thing that I forgot to do completely was set this up, see what the settings were on it. Maybe this will show what the defaults are. Oh yeah, here we go. Defaults, very good. So we should be in good shape. This thing should be ready to go except for those tires. The tires I'm installing are one of a couple sets of identical scuffs. In other words, used tires that I found in the garbage can at the local track after a big race event. So they look like they've been run once. I mean, they still have you can still see the middle seam going down them, so not very much used at all. I guess I should have put the ones with the more obvious seam on the rear. Well, this will work. They aren't marked, so I don't know what was front, back, left, right. Doesn't really matter. It's going on random for now. But these are race tires. They're slicks. They say sweep on them. I don't know what they were rated at, but they're going to be about 5 times better than these hard rock things that are so hard that even the mold compound is still on there after a number of packs of running for my initial tests and review. And it doesn't really matter what ones you get up to a point. Anything's going to be better than stock. So as far as recommendations, I know folks always want to know exactly what ones did you use. Well, it's not up to exactly what ones I used. What matters is what's going to work best for your situation. I'm going to be running on mostly nicely prepared surfaces, nice cured blacktop, and also an actual track. So slicks are the way to go here. And these aren't too soft either. They feel like they're probably 36s or something like that. And the hardness is kind of medium. But if you're running on asphalt that's all broken up or something, then you might want to look at getting some HBI X patterns or something like that. You know, something that'll get a little more grip on dusty surfaces. Okay, so tires are on. I'm gonna put the body on, or at least just set it on for now. See where my ride height is, see what that looks like. Sucks having to keep this big old antenna, but this was the brushed edition, and it has so much antenna wire that it went all the way up to the top of this tall thing and then back down. And if I hadn't coiled it around here, it would have gone all the way back down in the hole probably. That's kind of silly in this day and age, but I'll set my ride height and go out and take this thing out for a spin. Looks a lot different with the tires on like that. This thing actually could use some down travel limiters, because look at how much travel it still has in the suspension. That's okay though. I'll probably just leave that in for now. I just wanted to make it a lot better without changing too much. You know, this really hasn't taken that long to do altogether. The swaps, it was pretty easy, other than the experimentation I had to do on the shock oil, but now that I've remembered and experimented once again, that shouldn't be an issue again in the future. Getting the motor off was easy, getting the ESC off was really easy, changing out the springs was easy, changing out the wheels and tires very easy, of course. And it's 70 bucks on the motor ESC combo, and you know, a little bit of money on some oil and some springs, and tires are always the most expensive thing. I was lucky here; these were free because they were thrown away by racers. If you are in an area that has a lot of on-road racing going on, you know, go down there and do some racing in the rookie class, and you will probably start to inherit some lightly used tires from time to time. Always a good thing to save a few bucks. Otherwise, there are plenty of options out there. So that's it for this video. I am done for now. Like I said, I'll just do a little bit of fine tuning on the ride height and get this thing out there and see how it does. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again in the next video.